look, there are different categories of investors, qualified investors. If you are not a qualified investor, you can invest under 1,000. Any individual, any legal entity can invest under 1,000 US dollars a year. If you want to invest more and you find or we attract investors willing to invest 1 million or 2 million, so they are to take a course of a qualified investor. Moreover, from UGPay group, they need to buy the elite club. Now the fee is 100, starting from the 1st of February 1,000 and the 31st of March 10,000. So look, those who have more money, they need to pay for the elite club to get a discount from 15 to 50%. But starting from June, the maximum discount will be 35%. Why did we do it? Look, now we are negotiating. There are investors willing to invest 10 million or 50 million. And this is the reason we are doing all this through UGPay group, for us not to bargain some additional discounts. And in crypto market, there are no discounts with some volumes. Look, when we move to a next stage, so the price is such and you can actually buy it. And a qualified investor, the purpose of this qualification is to stimulate more benefits. The more money you have, like you remember, I got my training in 1997. It was one of the Australian company, insurance company in Donetsk, Ukraine. And there was a client willing to invest 100 million. And he is 100,000, sorry. And they had these rules. If you want to invest, pay for your education, and training cost price was at that time 1,000. But after taking this 1 week course of 1,000, I was super excited. And the investor with 100,000, his eyes opened. He thought investing is simply investing, and in 3 years you earn my money. But it turns out we actually studied the basics of capitalization, how to turn $1 into 1 million, did these calculations. And the objective is to have conscious investors, because what we faced, and in due time, the transport niche into which I invested large investors, 3 years after, they were criticizing and fighting. Look, actually this is scam, they didn't start. But I actually said back, look, I instructed you to study this, that. Quite likely that 5 years after, we won't be on the market. This is a venture project. Everything can happen. I told you this. And moreover, when we signed a contract, there was a provision, and he signed it, that he actually understands all the risks because he invests into the venture market. And this is the reason why we want to offer this training for qualified investors for a person, no matter how much they want to invest. After me, Armand will speak. And look, we know the billionaires who don't understand what investing is. They were lucky to be in the right place at the right time, but actually they know nothing about investing, and they can easily lose their money. Therefore, our objective is for a person to preserve and multiply. But how can we cooperate? We can when we have conscious investors. And this qualification from the third, second, first, and the highest category, the difference there, I want to correct it. Maybe because of the translation, or Harin didn't say it correctly. 30, 50, 80, and 100%, this is added to your dividend income. To say, in 1 month for each token, we have 10 cents of dividend income. And you know that our goal is from 1 to 10 US dollars of dividend income, at least in 4 years. Let's assume that 10 cents 10 cents is the dividend income per token. If a qualified investor of the third category, he will get plus 30%, not 10 cents, but 13 cents instead. Of the second category, he will get not 10 cents, but plus 50%, so 15 cents. A qualified investor of the first category, he will get 80% plus to his dividend income. So for everyone, it will be 10 cents, but for him of the first category, it will be 80% plus 18 cents. And of the highest category, it is 100%. Instead of 10 cents, he will get 20 cents per token of dividend income. And this way, we will stimulate a person to educate themselves through increasing income. And if he invests 10 million, buys a course of the qualified investor of the highest category, sits a test, but then do not annually requalify, so he needs to requalify annually, then his income will reduce. It was of the highest category, and this year he will get for the first category. Next year he's not requalified again, and he didn't pay, he didn't pass his test questions, then he gets to the second category, and without requalification within 4 years, so he will get, as anyone else, the minimum dividend income of 10 cents, like in my example, irrespective that he invested 10 million. He needs to requalify. Moreover, qualification of the highest category will include all the categories, category 1, 2, 3, and the category of the first category will include category 3 and 2. Category 2 will include category 3 and category 2. And moreover, for the investment consultant, you can train only those who get a course of qualified investor of the first category and the highest category. And then you get an option of studying for investment consultant and get a diploma of an investment consultant. This is what I wanted to add to what Harin Arun said. And now let's come back to IPO.
Igerim and our legal department flew over to the United States and met the company that is going to launch our IPO, prepare us for the IPO, and we have very good news. If we prepare all the reports by March, and for all our subsidiaries, those subsidiaries will be part of the holding, the Academy of Private Investors, and the American mother company, API, will be launching an IPO. And since it's taken over the Russian company is almost 10 years old next year. So after taking over the Russian company will become a subsidiary, and the US company will be the root company, the mother company. So it will have also 10 years of experience, 10 years of operation. So, and our idea is in September 2021, launch the IPO on NASDAQ or in New York. Well, it can be both futures and stocks. Whereas New York Stock Exchange, it works mainly with stocks for our purposes. So we'll take the look at the rates. I mean, I think they are the same, but NASDAQ is more popular. So maybe we'll go with NASDAQ. But our goal is on 15th of September 2021 to have a gathering in the United States, to have 20, 30, 40,000 people, depends, or 10, 20, 30,000. So it's gonna be still warm. We'll see if the weather permits. If it's, it can be Las Vegas or Los Angeles, depends. But imagine that we have a big stadium packed with our people coming from all over the world. It's an offline event, and we click the button and the trading starts, the trading of the Academy of Private Investors shares. And if by March we provide all the reports, all the documents, and we're doing our best to be ready to submit all the documentation by March. So in June, July, we will be ready to launch the IPO. And for 3 months, we'll be promoting, saying that we are at pre-IPO. And the students of the academy who will show good performance until March will be able to be the first stockholders of the academy. You all know that 50% of the academy belongs to the World CRU company. It's the asset holder, and 50% are allocated. 50% is for the IPO. Those going to be the privileged shares, and those shares will be put for trading, because according to the IPO algorithm, part of the shares won't be listed at all. It's the shares belonging to the World CRU with a higher dividend income. Part of the shares, 10-15%, will be put for trading. And those first shareholders, 500 people, will be held by those shareholders. We're now negotiating with the institutional investors of the US, Russia, Europe. So institutional investors are brokerage houses, investment holdings, investment companies, licensed investors, those companies that can become shareholders too. 9%. So let's do the math. You could write it down. 50% belongs to the World CRU company, 15% goes to the IPO, 9% is for the advisors. I won't give any names right now, but we're already negotiating with their representatives. They're going to be the Academy's advisors by May already. And it will give us a huge advantage when we launch our IPO, because people check who are the advisors, who the directors are. Harin, can I disclose that secret? Because why are you flying over to the United States? Harin, are you there? Can I say it? Why? Harin, are you with us? Because if he says no, I won't give away his secret. But if he says yes, can I reveal that secret? Why are you flying over to the United States? For our company, it's very prestigious that we have such person as Harry Narun. Пока не выходит на связь. Может, отошел временно. So I'm not gonna reveal that secret because it's his secret, but in the persona of Harry Narun, we're getting a very prestigious person. After you learn in which university he's going to study and learn and teach too. It's gonna be both in the United States, United States University, and he will be negotiating with very renowned investment people, both practitioners and theoreticians. So the next goal, so we're gonna have 8 million shares that we're gonna put up for IPO, and 12.5% is 1 million. So it's gonna be from 800,000 to 1,200,000. Okay, again, 50% is owned by World CRU, 50% is for the IPO, maybe 10% first, and then we'll add 5 more. Then 9% is for the advisors, 5 people that we're preparing, and they won't be able to reject our offer. And 26% is going to be owned by me, Andrei Khovratov. And I think all of you guys would like me to be an officially recognized billionaire, right? So after we launch the IPO, in 2-3 years after that time passes, I'm gonna have the control package, 26%, and it also enables people to be officially recognized as a billionaire. I'll explain you why. So when the company launches an IPO, the capitalization of the company happens. And that's what happens in the cryptocurrency market as well. It's a standard practice. And those shares that are put up for trading, and we're talking about 12.5%, it's 800 to 1 million shares, we're gonna launch at $17. And for those people who will be offered the proposal in March, it will be at $35 tops. So $3 to $5, the pre-IPO price. And we're gonna launch at $17. But the institutional investors and the investors that we're going to offer to become shareholders with you guys, there will be a contract that you won't be able to bring more than 10-20% of the total number of shares to the market. We will sign that contract. You will be able only to do it after 1 year passes. It's not not to collapse the market, but to put it into to go into the positive territory, positive surplus. So on the 15th of September, we click the button. And since we're going to have 10, 15, 20, maybe even 50,000 people offline in the United States, we're going to have an event dedicated to the 10-year anniversary of the Academy of Private Investors. It's going to be also an ever-rich anniversary too. And 7 years of our movement, the New Economic Evolution of the World movement. And 2.5 years, it will be the crypto unit program. Is going to be 2.5 years old. It's like 4 celebrations in one. So imagine on NASDAQ, those 20, 30,000 people go to the NASDAQ and place the buy order, for example, $20 worth, or someone says at $30. And that's why the cost of our share by the end of the year can be from $30 to $50. So let's do the math here. We are planning to have 100 million clients in the Academy by 2021. When by September we have at least 50 million, I'm sure that it's doable, of which 30%. So the statistics is as follows. On average, the check per each registered client is $100-$150. So let's take the calculator or your paper and pen, and I'll explain you why the average cost of the share will be $35 to $50. $150 is the cost of one average client multiplied by 50 million people. It's 7.5 billion turnover that we're gonna have by September. Multiply that. So what we're using here, we're using the fixed net income in the Academy of 10%. This is the net income after taxes from the turnover. So multiplied by 10%, it's 750 million of net income that the Academy can receive, okay? Divided. And how do you calculate the capitalization, by the way? 10% is in the market, and whereas to calculate the capitalization, you use the total number of shares, and we have 8 million. So if we take 8 million shares and multiply it by $17, it's 136 million, the capitalization of the Academy, market capitalization. Not the investment assessment, but the market capitalization. But when we have $750 million of net income, you divide it by 8 million shares, we have $93 per share. So if the IPO is launched at $17, it's 5 times more. It's 550%. Well, naturally, when we announce it, and we're gonna have those reporting meetings every quarter, because in the United States, you can pay dividends every quarter, but we're gonna pay dividends every month. So even with 750 million and $93 per share, we can do the following calculation. $93 divided by 10, which is 10% dividend, and multiplied by 100%. So the cost of the share can be almost $100. Why? Because you can receive dividend income at almost 100%, or the income per share can be almost 100% per year. So what's unique about our movement is that we will show the entire world on the example of the Academy only for now, because the Academy will be the first company to be having its IPO. Then in 2022, we'll prepare 3-4 more companies for the IPO. Our lawyers will have already experience of the IPO. And in 2022, we will launch at least 2 companies for the IPO, because you can launch an IPO when you have $25 million in 3 years. And if it's 15 million in 2 years, then you can put it on NASDAQ. So with the cost of share of $100 multiplied by 8 million shares, it's 800 million, which is the price of the Academy, the cost of the Academy. And if we achieve those numbers, then in 2023, we'll have an additional issuance of shares, because my original goal is to have 80 million shares of the Academy. So we'll do the additional issue. Those shareholders that already had shares, instead of 10 shares, they will have 100 shares. This is a standard procedure. While for the new shareholders, there will be an additional emission or issue, and the capitalization of the company will grow. So with our goal of 1.5 billion, so 1.5 billion clients, sorry, not dollars, multiplied by $150, the average check, it's 225 billion multiplied by 10% net income. It's $22.5 billion is the net income of the company. So 225 billion is the gross income. Yes, and divided by 80 million shares, it's $241 of dividends per share, divided on average, because I would like us to become the company with the average dividend income. If we do it 2% per month, 6% per quarter, and there are very few such companies, if we multiply it by 30, multiplied by 100, it's the cost of the share can be up to $1,000. Similarly to such companies as Amazon, Tesla, and so on. And every client that we have can become a shareholder. And if they're a client, why don't they receive dividend income from them being a client? And our policy is that each client to become a shareholder too. So we will issue 80 million shares in order to have as many our clients as possible as our shareholders too. So we are getting ready for the IPO in full swing. So loyal clients of the Academy, the first 500 people, 50 will be institutional investors, and then 400 will be able to buy the pre-IPO shares at $3-4 of the Academy. And you see, we will go to the IPO, and you already know the predictions. And those 500 investors, we as a company will own 12.5%, and those investors will be bringing those shares to the IPO, only them. And then you will be bringing your shares to the secondary market. It's like CRU tokens. When they go to the exchange, it's not us putting them on the exchange. We're doing the primary issue through the UGPay group. And you, as the owners of the tokens, will be bringing those tokens to the market. Only you can do it. We as a company cannot bring those shares to the market, those tokens to the market. So for all of us, the IPO is going to be like a major breakthrough in the market. And the situation is the same as with cryptocurrency. You need to make contracts with market makers. It's more or less the same, with the only difference that the volume of the stock market is way bigger than the volume of the crypto market. And hopefully our company, thanks to our crypto projects that we have, we will be able to catch up the cryptocurrency market will be able to catch up the stock market. I guess here I would